Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Black Butler, Chapter 151. When we last left our heroes, they were chilling out in Lao's place, making plans for our Ciel's revenge against the original Ciel, and trying to take back his power. As Ciel had Lao kind of try to cut off all of real Ciel's blood sources. He figured that real Ciel has to have some blood sources because he's still just a really smart bizarre doll. That's kind of where we left off. Last month is really all that happened because Butler can't progress too much in a single month. So let's jump right on into chapter 151, The Butler Indolent. We have, our cover picture is of real Ciel, Undertaker, and I think that's Alexis, right? One of the Midfords. I always get Alexis and Francis mixed up. From a lump of flesh to a peer of the realm. I don't think that, my first thought would be Tanaka would be in the room with them, but I don't think that's Tanaka. I don't think Tanaka has that much hair. But it might be. I don't remember. Anyway. So we open in Phantom Hive Manor with real Ciel explaining to the Midfords, or a version of what's been happening. We have a shot of Tanaka here, I've noticed before I've started reading the chapter, and I think that actually is Tanaka in the cover picture. So that's my bad. Anyway, the pair of us were sold off to a shadowy secret society on our 10th birthday, and used as human sacrifices for horrific ritual, as a result of which I sustained grave injuries. And the Midfords are taking this fairly stone-faced. But the Undertaker saved me. My wounds were severe, and so my recovery was a lengthy one. And we see Undertaker kind of like standing there smugly. Tanaka is looking down. I'm trying to get a read on Tanaka's reaction to all this. We know he's loyal to the Phantom Hive house in general, more so than to either of the brothers. But he might not... I don't know, I can't read him. Anyway. But now that I'm better, I've returned home at long last. And that's the whole story. And Alexis and Francis both look at each other. And Francis, surely you're acquainted with him? Hee, hello there! And Undertaker takes his hat off and kind of waves to them. So yeah, I was correct. Francis is the uncle. He is not, however, the one in the cover picture, so yes and no. Anyway, he has assisted the Phantom Hive family with its work since father's time. It's been too long, Lady Francis Phantom Hive. And Francis, looks at, just glares at him. Undertaker, you're just the same as you were when my brother was alive. You don't say? The way I see it, that applies to you as well, my lady. I feel as if you were born nary a moment ago. And Alexis, reacts to the story. The unbelievable things you've told us. It's a lot to take in all of a sudden. But I also can't deny that you're sitting here, sitting before me. So I have no choice but to believe you. With regards to Lizzie's disappearance and the pain it caused the members of your house, I am truly sorry. Had I been in slightly better shape, I would have been able to convince her to return home right away. So he is owning up to the... So that's actually interesting. Because the public belief is that our Ciel was responsible for everything to Sphere Music Hall. But by real Ciel admitting to the Midfords that Lizzie's disappearance was his fault, that implies that he was the one in charge of Sphere Music Hall, which is the truth. So what's up with that? Anyway. So Francis speaks next. Still, I can't fathom what possessed your little brother to pretend to be you, Ciel. Did he wish to make your title his own as quickly as possible? As the second son, he was already in line to inherit. Was it really necessary for him to go to the trouble of posing as someone else? I never took him for such a foolish child. And Ciel, real Ciel looks down into his tea. I don't intend to cast any blame on him for posing as me. With his sickly constitution, there was much concern about him being the spare, after all. I'm sure he had his reasons. I don't think he lied to hurt anyone. And Frances just kind of thinks to herself. In my place, my brother has fulfilled the role of Earl Phantom Hive with great success. Now I, the true head of the Phantom Hive line, must see to carrying out the Earl's duties myself. So it's interesting here. Again, given that RCL is the culprit of the Sphere Music Hall, how highly real Ciel talks about him, you know? Anyway, moving on. And that includes the responsibilities our house has shouldered for generations. as the Queen's watchdog. That gets some kind of non-verbal response from Tanaka. I'll have to request an audience with Her Majesty eventually, but I'm not entirely well yet. Is that so? And Francis speaks next. Be sure to take good care of yourself. And Real Ciel smiles. Yes, Aunt Francis. And then Real Ciel, later on, the Midfords are leaving, and Real Ciel and the Undertaker are watching them go. In walks Tanaka. Lord Ciel, I've brought the documents you requested. Here are all the ledgers detailing the Phantom Hive Estate's land rents. These papers here are estate improvement plans your younger brother was working on. Irrigation canals are currently being expanded, so this is an urgent matter that requires you to review the paperwork and make your decisions without delay. He's just like piling on more fucking paperwork. Then there are these reports, which analyze the correlation between price fluctuations, the resources produced on the estate, and rental revenue. Look at this mountain of papers. Just revealing them all will be a chore. And he starts opening one of the books and is flipping through it. Began just prior to my brother taking over, but income from the estate has declined considerably. This is due to cheap produce imported from the Americas, driving down costs in England. So that's why he was striving to develop the farmland. It is the Lord's duty to ensure his tenants can live out their lives in health and vigor. I see. However, the matter needing your immediate attention is the recruitment of new staff to run the Phantom Hive Manor. Now that you mention it, my brother didn't appear to have too many servants. Thanks to Sebastian, a hard-working and most competent butler, we were able to run the household with but a few servants. And how many servants did the previous Earl retain? The previous Earl was Ciel. He means his father. Manservants consisted of a house steward, a butler, a valet, an assistant butler, and several footmen. For female servants, the Earl kept a housekeeper and around 10 housemaids, of whom the lady's maid was chief. In the kitchen, we had a chef, a pâtissière, and a roasting cook. There were also 5 or so laundry maids, 2 kitchen maids, 2 still-room maids, and a number of gardeners and stable hands. Going by that would require at least 30 servants, I believe. To start with, for senior positions such as butler and housekeeper, perhaps you might approach Marquise Midford's household for introductions to trustworthy candidates. To fill the other positions, you could hire your tenants, and then advertise in the newspapers for what remains. In that case, I should have just consulted Uncle when he was here. I'll have to contact him again. Undertaker, can't you at least handle butler duties for me? What an amusing joke, my lord. Do you honestly believe I can play the role of a butler? Then what about Polaris or Vega? That's Arcia, or Real Ciel. Then what about Polaris or Vega? That's interesting. That's a lot. Because, so, in the course of our 2-year sojourn from Sphere Music Hall itself, the other lords besides Sirius have all kind of been left to the wayside, you know? Sorry about the lighting in this video, by the way, I've just noticed. I was not expecting it to be this bad, but whatever, we're making it work. Anyway, back to my train of thought. So, we kind of forgot about most of them, besides Sirius, who was Real Ciel. So, what are Polaris and Vega? The fact that they're kind of, brought up as potential, Sebastian replacements, basically, implies that they're more than human. Are they more demons? Are they Reapers? What are they? I don't know. That's a lot we'll have to worry about. But anyway, then what about Polaris and Vega? They're on a business trip to procure your food. Is that a fact? Well, I have to read over all these first before we can get started. You two can leave now. Yes, sir. My Lord Earl, and Undertaker's just relaxing on the windowsill. You've been sitting at your desk for 2 hours now. Why not take a little break? How dare you get comfortable? If you're going to say that, why don't you lend me a hand? I haven't the slightest knowledge of or interest in managing an estate. You're useless. Lord Ciel, when Tanaka walks in. Was there something else? Not quite. This is a little different from your duties as a lord, but might I trouble you to join me in the entrance hall? And Ciel looks at him and gets up, and we see he's in the entrance hall, and there's just this pile of bunny rabbit toys. Some with eye patches, some without. What is this massive pile of toys doing here? Your brother has been running a confectionery and toy company, the Funtom Corporation. It seems these are the samples of its new Christmas products. Now I get it. My brother claimed he was living for revenge, but he shrewdly managed to make his dream come true too. I guess that might be the point of all the time we spent talking about our Ciel's dream of joining creating a toy company in the flashback. I don't know. Does that upset you? Not at all. I'm happy to see he's grown. Rabbits, The morning of our 10th birthday, we got Rabbit Favis from our advent calendar, as I recall. According to your brother, demand for products aimed at women and children will only grow from here on out, and Funtom Corporation's performance has indeed steadily increased. Did you hear that, Undertaker? My little brother is so smart. As a noble, he wanted to run a business, something so very middle class, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. But he began this enterprise with foresight, to compensate for the decline in rental income. Had it been me, I would have invested in railways or communications. What would you like me to do about these products? I mean, that's Tanaka, and Ciel drops the bunny. Dispose of them as you see fit, won't you? And Tanaka just looks up at him. As you wish, my lord. That's the end of the chapter. So yeah, this chapter is very much pretty much just checking in on our Ciel. Much more focused on the estate than on the supernatural drama that's kind of the focus of the show. While the lighting is really bad, I'm really sorry. I left the page, look at the video feed. God, the picture is bad. I apologize. Anyway. So the chapter is very much focusing on the logistic side of being a noble, more so than the drama that's kind of going on in the arc. So it feels like this chapter is very much not progressing a whole lot, which, I mean, we're kind of used to at this point, unfortunately. But still, we do get a little bit of things to bring up. Primarily Polaris and Vega, and what exactly they are, if they're, also that there are even more ways of getting food, for real Ciel. I imagine that will put Polaris and Vega, whoever they are, in conflict with Lau, who's currently investigating all that. But yeah. Beyond that, this is not much of a chapter. It's a very small thing, which is something we're all kind of used to, I know, but still, it's still just kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to bring up. How will the Queen react? What does the Queen know about the two brothers? Especially given what we saw way back at the end of, either Public School or Emerald Witch, of the Queen's expressing interest in getting Bizarre Dolls of her own. Now that like a Bizarre Doll is her watchdog, how is she going to react to that? What's her game going to be when she finally gets into the story? And yeah, beyond that, that's really all I have to say for this month's chapter. Hope you all enjoyed this chapter and the video, despite the garbage lighting. Again, I really apologize. But yeah, if you did, drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever the fuck you want. Whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye.